All right, I think we're live. Hey, everybody, Dave Calafiore along with Drew Griffin. Hope everyone's doing well, and welcome to today's Build a Bot session. I think we've got a good one today that a lot of you are really going to find useful, especially those of you who have local assets like a local media hero page or a local newsletter. This is going to be really useful for you. And then if you take a step back a little bit and think about what we're going to show you today when you see it, this can be used for lots of other applications also. So fun one today. How you doing, Drew?
I'm excited. Today is going to be super practical and applicable and pragmatic. We throw those words around a lot, but I think that's where a lot of this is going to resonate, right? So I think as we get started here, for those of you who are watching this live or even catching this on replay, let us know. Are you guys running newsletters for yourself and your business, your agency? Those of you who went through our local newsletter accelerator program or are considering it, and you should probably if you're running a local marketing agency, let us know if you've got one. This should appeal to many of you. And, for those of you who are running Facebook pages, local Facebook pages as a proxy. We call them local media hero pages. If you're not familiar with any of that terminology, that's fine too. We're going to show you something pretty cool that you can use in other ways as well. So with that said, let's kind of get into this. Today, we're going to be building out what we call an events AI assistant. Now, what we're going to be showing you very shortly is on the surface level, very applicable to those things that we were talking about just a little bit earlier, newsletters, as well as local media hero pages as well. Events are of great interest to lots of local businesses. And if you are in the local marketing game, if you've got an agency and you want to serve those types of businesses, there's a little hack here, right? There's something pretty exciting about this. So let's kind of talk about what we're going to be doing over maybe the next 30 to 45 minutes. Here's what we're going to be covering, right? Obviously, welcome to this Build a Bot session. That's kind of what we are in right now. Part 2, the problem an events AI assistant solves and the opportunity that it provides to anybody that's running a local email newsletter or a local media hero page and beyond that, right? There's other practical ways to approach this. And I think this is really slick. And then we're going to go ahead and jump out and show you step-by-step how we build out one of these local, an events AI assistant, right? So appreciate that. Appreciate everybody chiming in when you do have the opportunity to let us know that you're here so we know that you're here live. And if you're catching this on replay, let us know that as well.
Quiet crew today.
It's totally cool. I guess everybody's in that pre-Thanksgiving, at least at the time of this recording, pre-Thanksgiving turkey and what do they call it? Tryptophan stupor. That's okay. I'm planning on taking a big long nap on Thursday as well. So again, welcome to this session. We're going to jump right into this and kind of talk about the problem that's solved for a lot of local newsletter operators, as well as local media hero pages and beyond. Right. So I think right off the bat, one of the things that can be problematic is the event submission process can be a little bit outdated. Now, there's some softwares out there that are really cool that, we've experienced some hiccups upon, and sometimes it's not always clear and evident that somebody submits an event that we should be aware of, right? And our good friend, Dr. Ben Atkins, has some pretty cool software. Some people jumped in on that opportunity, and we think it's great. But this is, I think, is a little bit more practical and pragmatic to deploy something like this, where you're capturing data, and then what's the next step, right? Like, we've got all kinds of expensive forms out there. There's Google Docs, of course, and Google Forms that can be used, but that's not always clear and evident that an event has been submitted either. So let's kind of talk about this advantageously in the way why we want to collect this type of data in the first place. Well, as you will see very shortly as we jump into it, and I promise I'm not going to be too verbose about this, it's opportunistic, right? Number one, it's going to create content for you, or at least has the plausibility of creating content for you. And then secondly, it also identifies businesses who are trying to get more attention for their business, right? So for those of you who are running local newsletters, you know what I'm talking about. It's a huge opportunity for you to feature local businesses and just promoting their events. So let's say a local restaurant or a local pub or a local chamber of commerce, perhaps a comedy club. They've got an event, and they're using other services like Facebook. Oh, by the way, this is a perfect way and opportunity to identify some of those businesses out there and invite them to follow your newsletter. If you've got a newsletter that's growing, you've got 500, 1,000 people, 2,000, 3,000, 5,000, in some cases, like our good friend Sherry Sanderson, 16, 17,000 people following a local newsletter. There's a lot of people that are specifically interested in what impacts them on a local level. So from a marketing perspective, if you've got a large group of people in a concentrated area and you send out emails every single day, you're reaching thousands upon thousands upon thousands of people every day with news and events and business updates and stuff like that. So lots of those businesses want the attention coming back on them. If you already have the attention, what an amazing opportunity it is to curate that information instead of you always being out on the hunt for new events. We've taught people in our newsletter accelerator program how to find some of these events. Well, what if you could have the events coming to you? I think there's a lot of power in that. And it's almost like an opt-in page, right? When somebody is interacting and they're handing over their data, like name, email address, mobile phone number, name of their business, the website address of that business, date of the event, or the name of the event, the date of the event, the time of the event, the description and the details about that event. Like, there's nothing better, right? You're basically getting into their brain in exchange for them submitting this information. You can use that as content, right? Like in our newsletters, we have one line that hyperlinks out to the event. And it's usually at the top of our newsletters. Well, beyond that, like if they submit all that information, could you not turn that into a piece of content that's, AI assisted? Interesting. And then you've got potentially a spreadsheet of information that you can then follow up with them on sales. I don't know about you, but I think that is a huge verified hot lead for you based upon the context of the way that they're interacting with your bot. So with that said, I think, we can kind of get into this and have some dialogue as we're building something out like this right within our platform called AskSpot. So there we go. Let's transition into this and let's go ahead and build out one of these AI assistants specifically for the intent of building out an events style type of bot. And then we'll discuss like other ways that we can use this frame of mind to do it in other locations, perhaps on a local media hero page, perhaps in an email signature, perhaps around the web and other types of areas. I think this would be a huge opportunity for many of you to start to think about how you can think outside the box in building out a custom AI assistant.
All right. Very quiet crew here today. Love for a few people at least say hello, let us know you're here. This is the reason why we do these live. We could easily just record these too, but if you're here, say hello. It's always more fun when we've got some interaction going.
Hey, Bruno, how are you?
Yeah, Bruno's there. Hey, Bruno. All right, so let's get into this. So as Drew was saying, what we're going to do is build out an assistant that can help you collect information for local events. So say like a local nonprofit or business has an event coming up and they want to share it with your newsletter, right? Drew, how often do we get people sending us a DM on one of our local pages or, to our newsletter asking how they can get their event featured or shared or whatever? I mean, it happens a lot, right?
Several times a day. Sometimes we get some, there's no days where something's submitted, but
Yeah.
often pretty much on a weekly basis, we get tons of event submission requests.
Right. So what usually happens is we're like, okay, yeah, like give us the information, right? And if you live in a local community, you've done any of this, like what happens most of the time is what do they share with you? They share with you some like little tiny image of a PDF that has all the information on it, right?
Yeah.
And it's a pain in the ass because now I've got to look at this PDF that's usually just an image. It's not even text on it that I can copy. And I've got to read through it and figure out and take the information off of it and then create a post about it or create an article for our newsletter about it. And it's a pain in the ass. Now I get like that's how most, local community organizations or maybe the PTO or businesses are spreading the word of their event. Like they're posting an image as a post that has all the, the info on it. Right. But for us who are busy and obviously do want to help and do want to help these organizations and businesses and also want to create content for our newsletters, that's a pain in the ass. Like, and that's something that we always hate dealing with is like, oh God, they just sent me this horrible. Sometimes the PDFs are tiny too, Drew. Like you open it and it's like a thumbnail size and you're like, I can't even read this.
Yeah. It's horrible to work with. And of course, we want to help them as best we can, but help me help you, right?
Yeah.
Just make it easy on them as opposed to just sending some kind
Yeah.
of obscure PDF.
And if you're running like a local media hero page or a newsletter and you've experienced that, let me know in the chat. I'm sure we're not alone. So what we're going to show you how to show you what to build today is something that you can share with somebody when they do inquire about, sharing their event or publicizing their event. And as Drew mentioned too, this is something that you can hyperlink to in your newsletter. Which people will see each and every time they open their newsletter. So let's kind of get rolling here and we'll kind of take you through this. So there's going to be two different phases to this. First thing we're going to do is build out the actual chatbot, rather simple. And then we're going to build out the flow using the Ask Spot Flow Builder to collect the information that we need to collect for that event, right? And actually maybe three phases. Then we'll show you how to take that information and send it to a Google Sheet so you can easily access it, okay? So let's get into it. We're going to create a chatbot. We'll just call this the event demo. This might be a little bit boring, building this out. So if this is something that's boring you, feel free to go and get about your day, and you can always catch the replay later. Totally up to you. So we're going to create that. We're going to open this up. And obviously, the first thing that you need to do is add a source here. Again, this is really just for the use case of collecting information. I'm just, as an example, just going to add like a web page here. So we'll just do PS. What's it? Cape May Local Scoop, Drew? I forget.
Yep.
.com.
CapeMayLocalScoop.com.
So, what you might want to do is, in terms of context and knowledge for this bot, maybe just add a bunch of information about your newsletter. Oops, let me just add URLs. HTTPS Cape May Local Scoop. Oh, I got an extra T in there. That's why. Okay. Add a bunch of information about your newsletter. And I think that will kind of suffice. And then in the prompt, so if you go to settings and AI config, what I would do is simply like write a prompt that says the sole purpose of this assistant or GPT is to collect information about events. You are allowed to answer basic questions about my newsletter or the local media hero page, But outside of that, you should always redirect the user back to asking about events or providing information about an event that they want publicity for. Okay. Super simple. Just keep it simple. Sources. Whoops. And my source failed here. Let's just do this. I probably typed that in wrong. So
You've got the L.
HTTPS Cape May local scoop.com.
There you go.
There we go. All right. So that part of it's set, right? I'm not going to go into detail here on and making you watch all that. But now we've kind of created the bot. The next thing we're going to do is go to settings here and go to general, and we're going to set up the initial message that the person who starts to engage with this bot will be met with. Okay. So kind of do something like, hi there. Whoops. There we go. Hi there. You can maybe make this, make it a heading. Hi there. Wave. And then let's do something. Maybe we could add our image from our newsletter. So we'll add an image here. Let's just, whoops. Expand this out here. Too many windows open. There we go. So there's our newsletter logo. And then we'll add a little explanation in of what this is. All right. Do something like, do you have an event coming up in the Cape May, New Jersey area? Would you like to include information on a promotion or event in one of our upcoming Cape May local scoop newsletters? Okay. And then what I'm going to do is we're going to add a button here. So simply click the Get Started button below and fill us in on what you have going on. So when I come back, we're going to go ahead now and leave here. We're going to save the changes, and we're going to set up our flow that's going to connect to this initial message. Okay. So once we create that flow, we're going to come back here and add a button to this initial message that when somebody clicks on will begin the flow that we're going to go and build now. Okay. Hopefully that makes sense. So now let's go to our flow builder. We're going to create a new flow. Let's call it event demo create. And now we're going to build this out. So Drew, what kind of information do we want to collect?
Yeah, well, I think it makes sense. Of course, we're going to need information and details about their event. I would recommend thinking more of this as a lead generation and content generation opportunity. So like right off the bat, I'm interested in getting at least their first name, so I know who the contact is. I'm interested in perhaps, well, the name of their business, if they've got one, or organization. So it's not always going to be a business. It might be, you know, I don't know, the Boy Scouts or the Girl Scouts or some type of nonprofit that might be in the area.
Mm-hmm.
So name of organization, business and organization, a cell phone number, right? A mobile telephone number, email address. That way we can, you know, contact them like that. Those are the basic things that we're going to want to be able to, on the lead generation side of things, be able to reach back out to them. And maybe like after the event is listed, like a great way to touch base with them might be to say, hey, BJ, just thank you so much for your event submission. I just want to let you know that the event is now posted in our newsletter. You can check it out in tomorrow's issue, or here's the link to today's issue. Cool, right? So like you're done with that. But beyond that, I would say obviously details about the event. So the name of the event, the date of the event, the time of the event, details like that.
Cool. So let's start building this out. The first thing we're going to do, as Drew was saying, we want to collect information. So we're going to ask some questions, and we're going to pull in a question block here. Okay. So there we go. There's our first question. We're going to click on here, and let's do something like this. First, let's get, actually, you know what? Let's hold on one sec. Let's back up a minute here. Boom. First thing we'll do is a message, right? So let's pull this open. Do something like, hey, first, let's get some basic details about you, right? And then what we'll do is set a 5-second delay. So what will happen is it slows the conversation down a little bit. It makes it feel a little bit more natural, because sometimes if you don't add one of these delays, it's just like bing, 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 right? And it feels a little bit unnatural. All right. So we're going to add a 5-second delay. So you'll see the little typing, loader show while that 5-second delay is happening, right? So let's get some basic information about you, and then we'll pull in the question block, right? So the question block is connected to this initial message block. And our first question is, we want to grab their first name, right? So may I please start with grabbing your first name. Okay. So we're going to first name, last name, right? We'll do them separately, because sometimes depending on your CRM or where you might want to send this data to, it's sometimes good to separate the first name from the last name, right? So what we want to do is create an attribute. An attribute is a place to kind of save this information into a custom field. So to do this, you can click on the drop down here. We've got some pre-built ones, but they don't always correspond with what information you're collecting. So the cool thing is that you can create a custom attribute. So if you click the plus sign here, it opens up this option where you can type in something like first name, right? So type in or put first name here, and then you can also choose validation. We don't really need to do validation here because we're not looking to validate a valid email or a number. So we'll just choose no validation, and then we'll just add that. And boom. So now when they answer this question, whatever answer they give will be saved to this custom field called first name. And you'll see where this comes into play when we show you how to export all this data out of AskSpot and into something like a Google Sheet, right? So there we go. Also want to add just a brief little delay in between this question and the next question, okay? So we'll just do a 5-second delay. Save. All right. And we'll get rid of this failure block here. All right. So now we're going to pull in another question. And then we're going to do, now, may I please have your last name? Whoops. And again, we're going to add a delay. So this will be between this block and the next block. And then we're going to create an attribute for last name. Add it. Hit save. There we go. So first name, last name. How about the name of the business or organization? Okay. Okay. What is the name of the business or organization submitting this event? And then again, we're going to add a delay. We're going to add a custom attribute. Name of organization. Save. What else do we have here? Let's do, so that's name of organization. We'll probably grab their email address at the end. And that way, you know, most likely if somebody's gone through this entire questionnaire, they're going to get to the point at the end where it's time to submit their actual contact information. They probably won't skip that because they've taken a bunch of micro commitments along the way, right? So now let's grab the name of the event. Okay.
That's a smart hack, David. I'd never really considered that, but I like that. If they've done those micro commitments, obviously they're going to want to submit it. So that's like the last step is to grab their email address. What do you guys think? Let us know. Can you see what we're building here? You see that there's an opportunity for both serving your local community and generating leads and data, right? And perhaps enough information to create some compelling content for your newsletter or your local media hero page. It's not just simply relying on them posting a Facebook event. Like that doesn't do you any good other than maybe just sharing their post. Here you've got some substance, right? You're becoming the micro Zucks in your community, as well as, you know, something beyond Eventbrite or Meetup or something like that. Like all of a sudden there's substance behind this.
Yep. So David Scarborough Drew is asking, why not just use a form?
Go ahead. If you want to use a form, go ahead and use a form. This is a little bit more conversational and opportunistic for you to kind of circumvent having to go out to that form or whatever that platform is to figure out what that information is. There's other things beyond this, you know, that is pretty powerful for your newsletter. But, you know, you want to use a form?
Yeah,
By
you
all
can
means.
absolutely. If a form is your preference, use a form. We're just showing you a different way. You know, and Drew's right. Like the conversational kind of setup here really does work well. Like it's just kind of a, you know, it's sometimes forms can be a little bit intimidating. Especially when they're not like they don't have like a flow to them, meaning they show each step, you know, one at a time. I know sometimes if I open a form and there's like 15 questions there that I have to answer, I may just close it and not move on, you know, like, oh, I don't have time to answer all these questions right now. But as I was mentioning before, the micro commitments where you're just asking one simple question at a time can keep people engaged and actually extract all of the information out of them in a much easier way. You know, after they get 3 or 4 questions into it, they're not just going to give up because they've already like spent some time diving in, right? Whereas if you just present them with a form that has 10 or 15 questions on it, like I just said, you know, sometimes you look at it and you're like, I'll do this later, right? I don't have time right now. And oftentimes, you never go back to it, right, Drew?
Yeah. Well,
yeah,
right. To your point, you can totally do that, David, if that's what you want, but there's other benefits above and beyond just using a form.
Yep. We're just showing you a different way. All right. So let's continue on here. So we got their first name, their last name, what else did I collect here, Drew? I lost my train of thought here.
Right. Name, first name, last name, name of business.
Yeah, name of business, organization. So now I'm going to kind of personalize this a little bit, right? So I'm going to say great. Now what I can do is recall one of those attributes. So I can say great first name. Thanks for that info. Now, may I please have the name or title of the event? Look good, Drew?
Yeah, it looks good.
Okay. So again, we're going to put a delay. We're going to create an attribute, and we're going to call that name of event. We're going to add it and hit save, right? So, and let's just keep moving forward here. So name of event. Let's do date of event.
Yep.
I could say perfect. Now, may I have the date of the date or date range of this event. 5 attribute, we'll just call it date of event. Add the attribute, and yeah, we'll just do no, because people might enter these in different formats, so we'll just not do any validation here. Date of event, hit save, and time of event. Great. Now, may I please have the time of the event? We can put a little, you can put a little emoji here if you want. Add a little spice. Event time. Add, save. All right. So name of event, date of event, time of event. How about an event URL? Is there like a link to a website or a page that has info about this event? Okay.
Maybe put it like in parentheses there or underneath it, like FB event, meetup, Eventbrite, something like that.
Sure.
That might just cue them into, if they've already done some work, that we can at least pull an image or something like that.
Could do something like this. And you can just, we can kind of make this in italics. There we go. Something like that, right? We'll add a delay and okay. Save. And then how about an opportunity to provide us, event details?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay. Got it.
What do you guys think so far? You see what we're building here?
Just do like okay. So these are event details.
Thanks, Carolyn.
Yeah. So there you go. Like, obviously, you can collect whatever information you want. We're just trying to kind of build out an example here for you, right? So this is pretty basic stuff. Right. So let's kind of run through this. We have our initial message. So first, let's get some basic details. We gathered first name, last name, name of the organization or business that's submitting the event. And then what do we do here? This is the title of the event or the name of the event, the day, the time. We asked if there is a link to like a Facebook event or Eventbrite or a URL that has more information. And then we asked for a detailed description of that event. Okay. So before we kind of move on here, is there any questions that we can answer, Drew?
No questions as of yet, but BJ says, yes, I like having a conversational way of getting information from site visitors. Totally. Like this is what we're doing here. And by way of using your AI bot, your AI assistant, like this exists, right? It's out there, and you could potentially have 10 people, 100 people, thousands of people interacting with this. Are you going to make yourself available for, 1,000 telephone calls or those types of emails that are being submitted? It's crazy how much time, like it's providing customer service to them and to you at the same time, right? If you have a sales team, right? Could you imagine having 10, 15, 20 restaurants or local types of businesses submitting this type of content? It allows you to build a sustainable pipeline later on. Plus like you're getting content right up front for your newsletter or for your homepage, for your local media hero page or however you want to deploy this. I think it's just an amazing way and an excuse to use the technology to get what you want while giving something in advance.
Yep, exactly. Yep, just another, way to do this. And we really like the micro commitment type strategy here.
David, there is a question from Carolyn.
Sure. Yeah.
Is there a character limit on how much the user can type in a question response?
There is, and that's actually in our next update. We're going to be expanding upon that. So keep an eye on, but that's just something we need to update, but that's coming.
Great question.
Okay, cool. So you kind of made it to the end here. Maybe you want to just leave like, one last message. So this is we're asking for the details, and we got a 5-second delay. And now we could do something like, hey, we'll review your submission and reach out to you if we need more information. Keep an eye out for your event in our next issue, right? Something like that. Hit save. Okay. And now the next step here is to take this information and get it out of AskSpot and into a place where you can easily, get access to it. Now, absolutely, you could go through your chat log and just extract the information that way. But maybe you want to have more of an automated approach where every time somebody submits, one of these events, all of the information that they've provided is, showing up on a Google Sheet or in your CRM or something, right? So the first thing I want to do is just go through and let's just fill this out here. Kind of just test it. Oops. Dave. Great, Dave. See, so added in, like I said, addressed me as Dave, right? Because I use the attribution tag. Thanks for that info. Now, may I please have the name or title of your event? We'll call it Build a Bot Session. You know, as we're doing this too, like we're showing you how to collect information for events, but what other types of ways can you use this? Like Drew and I have used it to register people for webinars and like events that we're running, like actually getting people registered, right? By extracting information from them. Drew, what are some other ways that maybe some folks could think about using this?
Well, I'll tell you a real life example. Some of you may have seen this post inside of one of our school groups, but the other day I donated a monitor and TV to my church. And as a result of that, I started having a conversation with their digital director and marketing and all that other kind of stuff. And I showed him a bot that I built that was just kind of a precursor and said, hey, this might be something that might resonate with the congregation and your youth. And he asked what it was, and I showed him, and it's like a way to submit prayer requests. Like, often during the service,
I love that.
we'll call out names of like people that we want to pray for in church. Maybe they've got, a sickness, an illness, maybe a life-changing event occurred, and his eyes just blew up. It was
I love that.
an incredible, like it doesn't have to be a monetization type of thing. It just can be something as simple as that, where, hey, what's your name? Who are we praying for? What's going on? And obviously the details would be scrubbed and not publicly made during the prayer, but like that's a case that you could use this for.
Yeah. And literally you could set it up just like we are now. And what I'm going to show you how to do is how to, once somebody submits the information to the church, it could all be automated and sent to like a Google sheet that the pastor could just go easily access and not have to think about a lot, and just, have printed up or, whatever it happens to be. I love that example. That's really cool. So yeah, I mean, we're showing you how to do events, but really think outside the box and think about other ways that you can utilize this. How can you help businesses with this? It's another, it could be used as a contact form in the bot. So I'll show you how to, when we connect this to the actual bot, you can put buttons that says contact us, and you could lead somebody through kind of like a conversational contact form, right? You just got to expand your mind a little bit. All right. So what we want to do to get this info out of here is we pulled in the webhook block. Okay. And I need to go and open up my Zapier here. Let's do that quick. And we're going to show you how to do this in Zapier, but you can do this in Make. You can do this with Pabbly if you have access to that. Any platform that will pretty much utilize webhooks, this will work with. Okay. So the first thing that we want to do is go to the trigger here, and we're going to choose webhooks. Okay. And as you see, when we choose webhooks, it loads it in as our starting point for this automation. And then the right-hand box here is where we kind of set it all up. So the trigger event is catching a hook. We want to catch a hook. We're waiting for information to come in, right? Hit continue. Continue again. And what Zapier now does is provides us with what's called a webhook URL. We're going to copy that, okay, and come back here into AskSpot, and we're going to paste that webhook URL in. And as you can see that when we do, the button shows up to test the webhook. So what happens is when I click this button, it passes all of these attributes that we've created over to Zapier. Okay, so we'll do that. Click test webhook. We got the success message up here. When we go here, now we're going to basically test it, and it's going to bring in those attributes that we've created in our flow. And there we go. Request A. And if you look at it, here we go, Drew. First name, last name, name of the organization, date of the event. All these things are simply right here. So easy. This is like an easy, simple setup. So we've pulled in all those attributes. We're going to hit continue. And now maybe you want to send this information off to a Google Sheet. All right. So you can easily connect a Google Sheet here in Zapier or any of these other automation platforms. I've already kind of connected my account. So if you haven't done that, you'd have to connect your Google account and all that stuff. It's not hard to do. But what we want to do is, so this is when a new submission is made, it's going to take that information, pass it to the Google Sheet. And what we want to do is create a new spreadsheet row, right? So it's going to take all that information and it's going to add it to a spreadsheet in a new row. We have the columns all set up already, okay? So maybe that spreadsheet looks like this. I've already made this just to save a little time. Event info assistant, first name, last name, organization, name of event, date of event, time of event, event URL. Maybe we'll just call this event info, event details. There we go. Boom. Okay. So let's go back here to Zapier. Now, so we're going to create a new spreadsheet row. I'm going to select my account here. There we go. Selected my Google account. We're going to hit continue. And now I've got to find the spreadsheet. Let's see, Cape May, local scoop. What is the name of that? So event info assistant. There it is. Okay. And now, basically, see all of the columns are here. Does everybody get this? So now what we do is we match up the columns on the spreadsheet with the attributes that we pulled in from AskSpot. It's really easy. So we'll click on first name. We'll find the first name attribute. Last name attribute. Organization or business. There, oops, I did it twice. Let's get rid of that. Organization. There we go. Name of event. There we go. Date of event. Date of event. Time of event. And event URL. And contact info. Or actually, all right. It didn't save my change that I made, but we'll just map this with event details. There we go. And we'll hit continue, right? And test. Let's go back over here to the sheet. And there it is, Drew. Look at that.
There you go. Boom.
Boom, 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 boom. It's all there. So now every time somebody submits an event, all this information just shows up on the sheet. Now, some other cool things that you can do also, maybe you want to receive an email or an SMS alert when a new event is submitted. You can do that really easily.
You can do that?
You can do that. So you can just click the plus sign here and you can choose like SMS by Zapier. Right? And action event, send an SMS. Again, you'll have to, connect your account here. You'll have to add a phone number that it can ping, right? I've done that already. We'll hit continue. Choose the phone number, right? You can just choose a random number or a number you want it to send from. We just choose random. And here's the message, right? So we can do something like new event submitted. And now you can just add in all those merge tags. First name, last name. Just hit a new line for each. Obviously it's an SMS, so you may not want to, add all that information in, but you might just want an alert that somebody added a new event, and that's an easy way to do it. New, or I already put that in there, but you get the point, right? New event submitted. And then you could go look at the Google Sheet and pull that information off of there. So if you wanted to do that, that's super easy. Another thing you could do, which I don't really we're kind of limited on time, but you could actually add ChatGPT here to actually write a small article or put together a little blurb about the event based upon the submitted information from your chatbot. And that's pretty cool too. Maybe we can do that another call, Drew.
That's killer.
Right?
Who would like to have that done? Let us know if you want us to do a part 2 of this session that covers that.
Mm-hmm.
If you're interested in that and you're not totally bored by this, I can't imagine why you would. This is a time saver for you and potentially a money maker. Like, how many organizations, other newsletter operators, other churches, could you do this for? This is a serviceable, very practical, like they're not going to be able to figure this stuff out. We literally just showed you a blueprint and a map to use a elegant and simple tool like AskSpot and a couple of other little tools here based upon what their requirements are to communicate, like build a list for people, build, a prayer list for people, build a content engine for people based upon and leveraging an event submission.
Yeah.
Does that make sense to everybody?
Yep. So another, one other touch point you might want to add in too is kind of a message to the person who submitted the event and letting them know that their event has been submitted, we've received it. And, hey, if you have any questions, or if we have any questions, we'll reach out to you. Keep an eye on it, in in our newsletter, something like that. So you can just add another step here. You could do, you could just send from a Gmail account if you want. It's really simple. You could select Gmail, action event. I want to send an email right here, send email. You can choose your account. You'll have to connect your Google account. And it's super easy. So the 2 is the person's, we didn't ask for email. Did we ask for email, Drew? I forgot.
I don't think we did.
But what you would do is basically you'd want to collect the person's email address, obviously. So you would choose their email address from the attribute tags here, and then you could just simply build out an email that would be sent automatically every time an event is submitted as a confirmation to the person who submitted the event, right? So kind of we have the webhook coming in, right? It's catching the information from the bot, it's adding it to a Google Sheet, and then it's sending you, the admin or the creator, an alert saying, hey, somebody just submitted a new event. How fun. And then it's also sending out a confirmation email to the person who submitted the event, letting them know that we got it and saying thank you and all those sorts of things. So pretty easy to set up all the automations. It's pretty straightforward. And of course, if you ever need help with this or, get stuck, you can always reach out to support, and, myself or Kim or Drew will always help you through setting this stuff up. It's really not that complicated.
Yeah, it's so cool, man. I appreciate you walking everybody through this. Like, you can even have fun with this, and not that this is blasphemous or anything. Maybe it's borderline blasphemous. Like, you can put an image of Jesus in there if you're a believer in Jesus. 2 thumbs up. Hey, I'm praying for you. I'm thinking about you. Have a little comedy in this just to show the demonstration. Jesus has heard your prayer, and we're thinking about you. We're praying for you.
Yeah.
Things are, a word of encouragement. You can get creative, have some fun with this a little bit, but you get the idea, concept.
Yeah.
Maybe even just include a link to a YouTube video or have some fun with it in some type of capacity. Amazing walkthrough, David. This is
Not done though. Not done. We got to finish out here. So, you've collected all the information. You sent the info to your webhook, to your automations, and at the end, what you probably want to do is just supply like a final message, right? Something. I think I added this in another message, but or you can do something like this. Got any questions about the submission process or your event listing? Feel free to ask me anything. So what happens now is this is going from our flow, which has no AI in it. It's kind of a built out flow built by you. And once you hit that end point, it now turns into an AI powered bot that is using all of the abilities in the bot that we're going to connect this to, right? So we'll hit save here. Let's save all this. And let's go back to our bot. All right. So if you remember in the beginning, we built out the initial message here. And what we want to do now is want to add that button here to our initial message. So if you go to channels, we can click add channel. And then what we can do, excuse me, is do a question here, right? So, oops, I'm sorry. Actually, hang on one sec. Get started. I'm sorry. Actually, I messed that up. Flow. Get started. We'll select the flow, right? So we put the words. This will be the words that are shown on the button, or can be the words that will be shown on the button. Then we're going to select the flow, which is event demo, right? Hit create. So it creates that. If we open this up, you'll see it event demo. We're going to turn this off, hit update. Okay. Going to go back here to settings. And then we're going to select a channel. Why is that saying get started? Actually, hang on one sec. Channels. Delete. Let me just do this over. Save. Channel. Flow. Started. There we go. Now I got it. Sorry about that. Create. We turn this off. If you turn this off, what it does is removes the button here from the bottom. So if we turn that off and hit update, you'll see the button's gone. But now we have a button here. That will add get started. We'll call this get started. Put a little emoji there, maybe just kind of drawing some attention. Maybe calendar. Save. Okay. There we go.
Boom.
Probably want to make that a little smaller. It's a little obnoxious, but
You get the, yeah.
There we go.
Optionally, you could probably even put like a little video there. Hey,
Sure.
This is Dave from Cape May Local Scoop.
Yeah.
Sounds like you've got an event. We're excited to feature your event, right? And then kind of walk them through. Just click that get started button below, and we'll be glad to get you in the next newsletter or tell our followers about your amazing upcoming event.
But here it is, right? Hi there. We got our logo. This is all the stuff that we added into our initial message. Simply click the get started button below. And when we click that, what happens? It's starting our flow, right? let's first get some basic details about you. May I please start with grabbing your first name? So there you go, Drew. Soup to nuts.
Remarkable. What do you guys think? Is this useful? I think it's incredibly useful, but into the eyes of the beholder, I suppose. Looks like a couple comments coming in.
Here's Ken is asking, are these sessions available? Yeah, in the classroom area in our school group community, Kenneth, there is a course module for all of our replays. That's where these go. They're all kind of piling up there, and you can go through and view it all there.
Scott, hey Scott, I was just talking to Scott yesterday.
Cool.
For this platform, what niches seem to be the best fit for this type of software if we were to sell this as an a la carte service? Well, I think there's lots of opportunities.
Sure.
We kind of talked about one for ourselves and kind of a top level, using it for a newsletter like this particular bot. But there's other things, Scott. I mean, we've done this for restaurants. We've done this for, attorneys. We've done this for physical therapists. We've done it for other types of physicians.
I think the bottom line is keep it simple. Like, the low hanging fruit for all of you in terms of selling this to businesses is creating very simplistic assistants that can answer all of the mundane FAQ type questions that businesses are getting all of the time. And speaking of that, I also want to show everybody something. But that's where the gold is. And that's the low hanging fruit. Oftentimes as marketers and people who are a bit tech forward, we try to really make things complex and complicated and try to make these little assistants do all sorts of stuff like, selling and booking appointments and all sorts of crazy things. And the bottom line is that type of stuff is not scalable. It's really hard to keep up with. Things break constantly. API connections, APIs change and connections will break. And then you've got a customer or client who's upset that their bot has not been functioning properly. And so my best advice, and this is advice from doing this for quite a while and actually selling into the small business space, is keep things simple. Like, create one of these assistants that answers those FAQs that local businesses or small businesses are getting all of the time. What time are you open till? What products do you have? How do I make an appointment? How can I get someone to come down and take a look at my thing? How do I, what promotions do you have going on? Things like that, right? Every business has them. And if you can make one of these assistants to address that a business can better serve and more efficiently serve their customers, it's a win-win for everybody, right? And it allows you to not be glued to your computer worrying all the time that something may not be working or a connection broke or one of these complex things that I've built is not working properly, So that's really our best advice. I think they're useful for all sorts of niches and industries. Any business that's getting repetitive questions over and over and over again, this is extremely helpful for. And if you didn't watch our Build-A-Bot session from last week, I'd recommend going back and watching that, because right now there is a great opportunity to go help businesses as they're entering their busy season, right? The holiday shopping's coming up. There's a huge increase of website traffic and phone calls and questions to local businesses, and you really can help them alleviate a lot of the stress that comes along with that by simply implementing one of these assistants on their website.
Yeah, there is a massive opportunity right now, and something that we're shifting to into 2025 is practical and pragmatic artificial intelligence as an agency service. Let's just get very frank here before we get into this holiday right now, guys. things are going to be shifting to AI in a very rapid fashion from today moving forward. It already has. And being able to be a provider, a source of information about this is just absolutely magnificent for ourselves. It's also scary, right? Lots of businesses want to get ahead of the curve and they just don't have the time. They don't have the resources. But if you could be that resource, like something as simple as this, I don't know about you guys. I know a lot of you probably don't like to go to events. I'm telling you, it's an absolute gold mine. It's a gold mine. Like, are any of you collecting business cards? If you're not, you should. You should be going to these events. Everybody wants to do something fancy, like AI, like, ads and do everything digital. Nobody wants to talk to anybody anymore. But I'm telling you right now, from a fishing perspective and a hunting perspective, we talked about this on that last call. Are you a fisher or are you a hunter? You want to put your bait out there and hope that somebody's got, some type of fish and catch is actually going to, take your bait? Or do you actually want to go out there and capture the food for you and your family and your business, right? So your objective should go out there and to collect business cards. The business card, right? Like you guys probably all saw this before. Like, this is my business card, right? It's the stupidest thing ever. Hello, my name is Drew. Everybody has seen those types of stickers. On the back of it is a QR code, right? Your objective should be to collect others' business cards. What if you were able to show them, each and every single one of them, an AI powered business card? Like the easiest thing ever to get an uninterrupted 30 to 45 minute meeting with a prospect is to invite them on your podcast. If you don't have a podcast, it doesn't have to be a podcast that gets syndicated. All you need to do is, hey, I'd love to interview you and feature you on my Facebook page or my newsletter or whatever it is. Who's going to say, if I asked you, Kenneth, James, Carolyn, David, Scott, right? Patrice, BJ, everybody that's on this call right now, hey, I'd love to feature you and catch up with you a little bit and actually be social. Hey, BJ, I'd love to connect with you and learn about what's working really well inside of your business. Would you take the opportunity to meet with me for 30 to 45 minutes? The likelihood that that business is going to say yes is probably pretty good, unless you're just nonchalant and you really don't care about yourself or your business and you don't want to develop friendships and relationships. Could you show them a magic trick? Like an actual, to me, this is as close to the golden ticket as you can possibly get. Right? It's a magic business card. Like, just show them that trick. How many of you here would go and meet and do the work, literally just create a template and create business cards for people for $10 a month, like 1,000 businesses for $10 a month? Guys, that's 10 grand. If you say that you're not going to do that, you're crazy. You probably shouldn't be on this call. If you wouldn't do that for $10 a month, like, guys, for AskBot, you get unlimited chatbots, unlimited businesses. What are you doing? What are you doing? I don't mean to sound aggressive about it, but like right now is a huge opportunity. Are there other sources? Are there other softwares? Of course there are, but they're not doing what it takes to meet and connect with businesses and solve their problems. From this one little bot that I showed to this church, right there, it's packed with affluent business owners that my software is going to get in front of them. They're going to like, what is this? What is this technology? Not saying that you have to do that or even have to be religious at all, but like that kind of stuff makes a big difference. We're going to touch the lives of countless people through that church.
And we're going to leave our branding on.
And we're going to leave our branding on it.
Yeah, there you go.
So guys, yeah, I didn't mean to go off on a tangent there, but sometimes learning about this technology, and it doesn't have to be like crazy pricing where it's $497 setup and $297 a month. Get practical, particularly in this economy and a lot of the uncertainty that's going on. Everybody's got $10 a month to you pay a subscription that might potentially get them some incredible results.
Here, we don't really talk about this a lot in the AskSpot community, but we do in our other asset-based agency school group. Is the local marketing agency service model that we're all used to, these common marketing services like SEO and web design and lead generation and all this stuff is going away. It is. If you don't believe it, you really should. The future is going to be working with businesses, showing them how to implement and use AI practically within their business. You should really start thinking about that. There's a lot of people just so dug in with these traditional marketing services. They're still useful. They still do help businesses, but in a matter of 2 to 3 to 5 years, it's over with.
It's done.
Done. For nearly zero cost, AI agents with the push of a button are going to be able to handle the majority of the marketing for any local business way better than you and I can.
It's alarming, but also an opportunity to do the right thing for yourself and your agency and your business. I get it. Everybody wants a home run. Well, I do too. I want, much larger scale, but being practical about this, very few people are going to say no to something like this when they realize in the back end, the upsell, the opportunity. Like we did one for a local restaurant, comedy club, etc., where we just built out a very easy to deploy custom AI chatbot that just was a trivia chatbot. And many folks jumped in on our offer and our deal for the trivia, the trivia bot masterclass. And it's incredible. Like, you're solving a problem that many restaurants have in wait times and stuff like that, where in one single weekend, able to generate hundreds of opt-ins and emails. Like, everybody wants the list, but then they don't know how to build the list and then what to do after the list. What if you were able to give them the list, by putting a tabletop tent on every table in the restaurant and solve the problem that every waiter and waitress has and the restaurant has in wait time, and you put it up there, right? It's minimal cost to get one of these tabletop tents created. And then when they scan the QR code using a form like this, a conversational type of bit, getting the people to opt in to play the game. Now you've got a list that you can market to and tell them about your Thursday specials, what band is playing Friday, what shows playing on Saturday and Sunday, and your office out, your restaurant offices, restaurant hours and all that other kind of stuff, right? What do they do afterwards? Is this a revenue generator for that business? I don't know what restaurant or business wouldn't want that. And then you just do a monthly maintenance fee on the bot and maybe perhaps become their consultant for their email marketing types of campaigns. The opportunities are endless for these types of opportunities.
The bottom line is the future agencies that will succeed will concentrate more on consulting, not service implementation or offering, specific marketing services. So the key here is teaching businesses about AI and how to, use it in a practical way for their businesses, right? And this is one way. There's a lot of other tools in AskSpot too that you can utilize in our template area. Chatbots that perform utilities, specific tasks like writing social posts or writing real estate descriptions for homes. That's just a few examples. There's a bunch of them in there. And so start thinking outside the box, right? You got to expand your mind a little bit because things are changing. And if you don't change along with the change that's coming, your agency is not going to survive. It's just the facts. One thing I wanted to show everybody inside of the school community, if you go to the classroom area, and this kind of builds upon what we were talking about, low-hanging fruit, creating chatbots for businesses that handle and answer those mundane, everyday questions that they're getting via email, via phone calls, via direct messages. What we put together, what Kim put together, and she did a great job with this, is we created a huge list of common questions that specific business niches or businesses in specific industries are getting all of the time, right? So, for instance, if you click on plumbing, we've got residential, commercial, emergency, drain cleaning, and pipe repair and replacement. So if you just click on like commercial plumbing, what we've done is kind of compiled a list of a lot of the common questions that any commercial plumbing company might get. So where is this helpful? This is helpful if you want to build out a demo for a specific type of business in an industry or niche. If you're working with, I got a plumber who just reached out to me and I got to put together a demo for them. We're going to build out a bot for them. This will be very helpful for you in terms of kind of thinking about how do I need to create this bot or this assistant for the business. Like what I would recommend is probably go through this list of questions with the specific business you're working with, right? See what's applicable to that specific business, and then maybe take some of these and put them on a Google Doc or a spreadsheet where you could give access to the business. They could take their time and thoughtfully fill out the correct answer to these questions for their particular business and pass it back to you. And then you can use that information or that data to train the assistant that you're going to be building for them. Okay. So I think this is going to be really useful for a lot of you. We'll be adding to this over time. We've got plumbing, real estate, automotive, retail and wholesale, marketing and digital marketing, transportation, cleaning and janitorial. There's a bunch here, and we'll be adding to this over time. But I just wanted to let you know that that is there. And I think it can be really helpful for a lot of folks, Drew.
Yeah. I mean, this is helpful for me as well. Like 2 weeks ago, I get a lot of ideas from my wife when she's got that honey-do list. Guys, you guys have honey-do list? Let me know in chat if you've got that honey-do list. You know, she's like, our sump pump isn't working, Drew. Maybe we should call a plumber. I'm like, I know how to change a sump pump. I just don't want to do it. Right. Maybe I'm a little bit lazy with that. Maybe we should get an electrician out to change the chandelier or automate, the light bulbs or something like that. Right. So like all of a sudden I'm getting pressured. Well, I wouldn't say pressured, suggested that I do certain work around the house. Well, I consult the all-knowing YouTube to figure out how to do this kind of stuff. And then I just said, you know what? I don't want to deal with this. Like, I think my wife was actually, I won't say that she was actually trying to kill me, but she's like, oh, can you take out the old dishwasher and put in a new one? And I'm like, I don't like electricity, but let me just hire somebody to come out and do it. It was the best decision of my life. And then as I was speaking to the plumber, I said, hey, what kind of questions do you guys get? And lo and behold, I said, hey, let me show you something. And I built something out rather quickly while they're changing out my sump pump. I built out this custom AI bot. And I'm like, yeah, he says like 90% of his time is like answering questions about prices, about this service, about emergency services, that sort of thing. And lo and behold, I got a discount off of the actual labor of the bot. And in exchange for that, I got a new client from it. So it all washed out, no pun intended. So like you're going to get ideas, guys. Start thinking and using that list of what Kim has put together to build out your own, uh, you know, roster of bots in these types of situations, and then use real life experiences when you've got events just to have an excuse to show them the cool stuff that you're able to create. And more likely than not, you're probably going to end up with some potential customers and clients.
Yeah. David says, when I did this for my electrician client, I came up with 248 questions and answers. He then reviewed it, and he will be using it as a source for his bot. There you go. Same sort of idea. Yep. Yep. Make your life easy, right? Let them do the majority of the hard work and heavy lifting. And you know how easy it is on our end. I mean, it's just like upload document, write prompt, stylize, customize a little bit, and add to website. Not difficult. And as Drew was saying, you can create as many of these as you want. There's no limit. So go crazy. Go help businesses. Like, it's a great, go watch last week's or Build a Bot. Like, there is a huge opportunity right now, but you've just got to get out and like start conversations and go do those things that most of you and us don't want to do, which creates the opportunity, which is saying, hey, my name is, I got an idea. What do you think?
Yeah, sometimes that's the best way to go out there and sell it.
Yeah.
All that said, guys, hope that you found some value in today's Build a Bot session. If this resonated with you, if you like this and you want us to do more of these, let us know in the chat, maybe as we wrap things up here. You know, with that said, enjoy your holidays, Thanksgiving.
I have a challenge, Drew, before we go. I'm going to offer the first person who records their own Build a Bot session, doing something, building a bot that they had an idea for. If you do like a Loom type video showing you building out your thing, explaining what you're doing, very similar to what I just did, and you post it in the school group, the first person to do that, I'll send $100 to.
Whoa. Oh, the challenge, the gauntlet has been dropped. $100, guys. For the first person to drop the Loom video in there. It's obviously going to be timestamped and all that kind of stuff. There's the challenge. I don't know what you guys are waiting for. $100 is $100. And we hope that you guys do this. In fact, you know, there's some cool stuff that you guys should be doing. You should be sharing this. You know, there's more than enough business. Have an abundance mindset. You should be doing this anyway inside this group. This is your community. We want to see the cool stuff that you're able to build. And sometimes maybe you get stuck. Like, oh, I have an idea, and you're building something out and you get stuck on something. Maybe somebody else has an idea and it says, hey, no, this is how you should do it. Maybe, you know, let's have that type of conversation and build out some really cool stuff. Maybe a lot of this is what we're building out is superficial and, you know, maybe very basic type of stuff. But I'm telling you, to the average business person out there, sometimes something like this triggers an idea, and it can be so invaluable to them that you develop amazing relationships and they hire you to build out their custom AI bots and everything else involved.
And that's what you got to remember. Like, to you and I, this is very simple. This is simplistic. To the average business owner who's not dialed in and constantly paying attention to all this stuff, this is mind-blowing. It really is. A lot of opportunity. You just have to go out there and get it and chase it. So that offer stands. Post your own Build a Bot session, Loom style video. You know, make sure it's got some substance to it, that it's not, you're just doing it to just get $100 from me. Don't be that idiot. But post it in the group, tag myself or Drew, and that's my challenge.
Oh, I like this. This might turn into a series, almost like our own Shark Tank series, where, hey, let's see what kind of bot you're able to build, and maybe have the rest of the audience vote on it. Maybe we'll do this on a weekly or a monthly basis. You guys like that? Like that idea? I think that's kind of has some legs with that. That's pretty cool.
Cool.
David says it's magic. That's awesome.
All right, everybody. Hey, have a great rest of the day. If you're in the U.S. celebrating Thanksgiving, have a great Thanksgiving, and we'll talk to you all next week.